You took my life. I just took yours back.
I'm elbow deep in engine grease when my stomach twists again, a sharp, familiar cramp that's been my unwanted companion for the past 3 months. The 08 Civic on the lift above me drips oil like a confession, slow and damning. I wipe my hands on a rag that's seen better decades and wonder, not for the first time, if love is supposed to hurt this much. "Dave, you look like hell," Jimmy calls from the office doorway of my dealership. He's right. I've lost 15 pounds. My skin has that grayish tint you see on fish left too long at the market, and I can't remember the last meal that didn't feel like swallowing glass. "Thanks for the pep talk," I mutter, climbing down from under the car. "Really brightens my day." Jimmy's been with me since I bought this place 5 years ago, after I left my chemistry career behind. Turns out there's more money in selling used cars in this dying New England town than in analyzing compounds for pharmaceutical companies. Or there was, before my insides decided to stage a revolt. The dealership sits on Route 9, between a shuttered textile mill and a Dollar General that's seen better days. Our town, Millbrook, peaked somewhere around 1987 and has been sliding downhill ever since. Peeling paint, cracked sidewalks, and the kind of desperate, clinging gossip that fills the void where prosperity used to live. My phone buzzes, a text from Caroline, my wife. "Working late again, don't wait up, love you." Love you? 2 words that used to make my chest warm. Now they just make my stomach hurt worse. Caroline's catering business has exploded over the past year. Spice of Life Catering went from her doing birthday parties in our kitchen to landing corporate events and weddings across 3 counties. She's talented. I've never disputed that. Her duck confit could make a vegetarian weep. Her desserts have been featured in regional magazines. She's brilliant, ambitious, and lately barely home. I pocket my phone and head to the tiny bathroom at the back of the dealership. Another cramp doubles me over the sink. I splash cold water on my face and stare at the stranger in the mirror. 43 years old, looking 60. Dark circles under my eyes, hollow cheeks. When did I become this? Stress, the doctor said last month. Maybe an ulcer. Cut back on coffee and spicy food. Here's a prescription for antacids. The antacids sit in my medicine cabinet, untouched. They don't help. Nothing helps. I drive home as the sun sets, painting our little suburb in shades of orange and gray. Our house is a modest Cape Cod on Maple Street, white with blue shutters, a small yard that Caroline used to tend before the business consumed her. Now the grass is too long and the flower beds are choked with weeds. The house is dark when I pull into the driveway. Of course it is. Inside, I flip on lights and head to the kitchen, Caroline's domain. Stainless steel appliances, a professional-grade gas range, racks of spices and herbs that she orders from specialty suppliers. The kitchen is worth more than my car. I'm not much of a cook, but I can manage scrambled eggs. As I reach for the egg carton, I knock over a small glass jar on the counter. It rolls toward the edge, and I catch it just before it crashes to the floor. The label is handwritten in Caroline's neat script, "Special blend, do not touch." Curiosity, the same instinct that made me a decent chemist once upon a time, makes me unscrew the lid. Inside is a dark powder, almost black, with flecks of brown and gray. It smells earthy, musty, with an undertone of something I can't quite place. Not unpleasant, but not appetizing either. I'm about to put it back when something stops me. A memory, hazy, but insistent. This smell. I've encountered it before, years ago, in a university lab. Before I can talk myself out of it, I tap a small amount into a plastic baggie and seal it. Then I carefully return the jar to its exact position on the counter. My phone buzzes again. This time it's not Caroline. "Dave, it's Paul. Call me when you get this. It's important." Paul Henderson, my old lab partner from university, now a research technician at Millbrook Community College. We grab beers every few months, reminisce about the days when we thought we'd change the world through science instead of settling into the comfortable mediocrity of middle age. I dial his number. He picks up on the first ring. "Dave, thank God. Listen, I need to see you. Tonight, if possible." "What's going on?" "Not over the phone. Can you come by the lab? I'm here late working on a project." The urgency in his voice eliminates any thought of refusing. "Give me 20 minutes. The community college is a collection of brick buildings from the 60s, arranged around a quad that's more mud than grass. Paul meets me at the science building's side entrance, looking nervous. He's a small man, balding, with wire-rimmed glasses that perpetually slide down his nose. Tonight he looks like he hasn't slept. "Thanks for coming," he says, ushering me inside. The hallway smells like formaldehyde and floor wax. Our footsteps echo off linoleum floors as he leads me to his lab. You sounded like someone died, I say, trying for levity. Paul doesn't smile. He closes the lab door behind us and locks it. Dave, how well do you trust Caroline? The question hits me like a fist to the gut. What kind of question is that? Just answer me. Do you trust her? She's my wife. That's not an answer. I lean against one of the lab tables, suddenly exhausted. Why are you asking me this? Paul adjusts his glasses, a nervous tic I remember from our university days. Because I saw something tonight, something that's been eating at me for the past 2 hours, and I can't not tell you. Paul, you're scaring me. I was at Russo's, that Italian place on Main Street, picking up dinner. I saw Caroline there, with a man. My stomach clenches. Her business partner, probably, Derek. They meet all the time to discuss. Dave. Paul's voice is gentle but firm. They weren't discussing business. They were in a corner booth, and she was kissing him, not a peck, a real kiss, the kind that means something. The lab tilts slightly. I grip the edge of the table. You're sure it was her? I'm sure. We stand in silence. The fluorescent lights hum overhead. Somewhere in the building, a pipe clangs. There's more, Paul says quietly. When I left, I saw them get into his car, a black BMW. I wrote down the plate number. I don't know why, I thought you should know. I pull out the plastic baggie from my jacket pocket. My hands are shaking. Can you analyze this for me? Paul takes the bag, holds it up to the light. What is it? I don't know. I found it in Caroline's kitchen. It's labeled as a spice blend, but something about it bothers me. You want me to run tests? Can you? Paul nods slowly. I can do a basic analysis tonight. Full breakdown will take a few days. He looks at me carefully. Dave, what's going on? I don't know yet, I say, but I'm going to find out. I drive home in a daze. My mind is racing, connecting dots I don't want to connect. The late nights, the business trips, the way Caroline's been distant, distracted, the way she's been making me special meals to help with your stomach issues, she'd said with such concern. The house is still dark when I arrive. I sit in my car in the driveway, staring at our bedroom window. 10 years of marriage. 10 years of thinking I knew someone. My phone buzzes. Paul, preliminary results are weird. Need to run more tests. Can you come by tomorrow afternoon? I text back. I'll be there. Inside, I don't turn on the lights. I move through the dark house like a ghost, going through the motions of normalcy. Brush teeth, change clothes, climb into our empty bed. Caroline comes home at 2 a.m. I hear her car in the driveway, her key in the lock, her footsteps on the stairs. She slips into bed beside me, smelling of perfume and something else. Someone else. Dave? She whispers. You awake? I keep my breathing steady, feigning sleep. After a moment, she sighs and rolls away. I lie in the dark, my stomach churning, and wonder if the woman next to me is trying to eliminate me. Morning comes with gray light and the sound of rain on the roof. Caroline is already up, moving around the kitchen. I can smell coffee brewing, bacon frying, the domestic symphony of a normal morning in a normal marriage. Except nothing is normal anymore. I dress slowly, my mind sharp despite the sleepless night. Years of chemistry training taught me to observe, to test hypotheses, to follow evidence wherever it leads. I need to approach this scientifically. Emotionally, I'm a wreck. Intellectually, I need to be ice. Caroline is at the stove when I come downstairs, wearing her silk robe, her dark hair pulled back in a ponytail. She's beautiful. I've always thought so. 36 years old, with the kind of elegance that comes from confidence and success. When did I stop being enough for her? Morning, honey, she says brightly. Too brightly. I made your favorite, bacon and eggs, and I'm trying a new spice blend in the eggs. Tell me what you think. She slides a plate in front of me. The eggs are perfectly scrambled, flecked with herbs and that dark powder I recognize from the jar. Looks great, I say, my voice steady. But I'm running late. I'll grab something at the dealership. Her smile falters. You need to eat, Dave. You've lost so much weight. I know, I will, I promise. I kiss her cheek, a Judas kiss if ever there was one, and grab my keys. Wait, she calls. I'm catering an event tonight at the Riverside Hotel. Big corporate thing. I probably won't be home until midnight. With Derek? The question comes out sharper than I intended. She blinks. Yes, with Derek. He's my business partner. Why? No reason. Just asking. I leave before she can press further. At the dealership, Jimmy takes one look at my face and pours me coffee without a word. The morning passes in a blur of paperwork and customer interactions. I smile, I shake hands, I negotiate prices. Autopilot. At 3 o'clock, I tell Jimmy I'm leaving early and drive to the college. Paul is waiting in his lab, looking even more haggard than yesterday. He has papers spread across his desk, computer screens glowing with data I'd need time to interpret. "Sit down," he says. I sit. Paul removes his glasses, cleans them with his shirt, puts them back on, stalling. "Dave, I ran every test I could think of. Chromatography, spectroscopy, the works. That powder you gave me?" He trails off. "Just tell me." "It's not a spice blend. I mean, there are spices in it. Turmeric, coriander, black pepper. But the main ingredient is Amanita phalloides, deathcap mushroom, one of the most poisonous fungi on the planet." The lab goes quiet. I can hear my heartbeat in my ears. "How much?" My voice sounds distant, detached. "Enough to be lethal if consumed regularly over time. It causes liver and kidney damage. Symptoms include nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, diarrhea, eventually organ failure." Paul's hands are shaking. "Dave, your symptoms. How long have you been sick?" 3 months, maybe 4. Jesus Christ. Paul stands abruptly, paces the small lab. "We need to get you to a hospital, right now." "Wait." My mind is racing, pieces clicking into place with horrible clarity. "Can you test my blood, see if there's evidence of poisoning?" "I can draw blood, but the full toxicology screen needs to be sent to a proper lab. That takes days." "Do it." Paul draws 3 vials of blood, labels them carefully. His hands are steadier now, focused by the familiar routine of scientific procedure. "I'll rush these to the state lab. I have a contact there. But Dave, you need to see a doctor. Today." "I will. But first, I need to know for sure." "Know what?" "That your wife is poisoning you?" "Dave, the evidence is circumstantial," I interrupt. "I need proof, real proof, and I need to know why." Paul stares at me. "Why? Why does it matter why?" "Because I need to understand, and because—" I pause, choosing my words carefully. "Because I need to know everyone involved." Understanding dawns in Paul's eyes. "You think there's more to this than just an affair?" "I think if Caroline wanted to leave me, she'd leave. We don't have kids, we have a prenup. Her idea, actually. She'd keep her business. I'd keep the dealership. We'd split the house equity. Clean break." I stand, pacing now too. "But if I die, she inherits everything. The dealership, the house, my life insurance, $500,000 plus assets. So this is about money. Money and freedom. She gets both, and she gets Derek." Paul sits down heavily. "What are you going to do?" "What I do best. Investigate, document, build a case." I meet his eyes. "And then I'm going to destroy them." The next week passes in a strange double life. By day, I'm normal Dave, running the dealership, smiling at customers, making small talk with Jimmy and the mechanics. By night, I'm someone else, someone methodical and cold. I start with Derek Chambers, Caroline's business partner, co-founder of Spice of Life Catering. I know the basics already. He's 34, graduated from culinary school in Boston, moved to Millbrook 2 years ago. He's handsome in that generic way that women's magazines call dashing. Tall, athletic, perpetual 5 o'clock shadow. The kind of guy who wears expensive jeans and drives a BMW. Following them is easier than I expected. They're not careful. Why would they be? They think I'm the oblivious husband, too sick and stupid to notice. I watch them meet at Derek's condo, a modern glass and steel box in the new development by the river. They think they're discreet, parking in the underground garage, but I have a clear view from the coffee shop across the street. I watch them at restaurants, holding hands across tables in towns far enough from Millbrook that they think they're safe. I watch them at the catering company's commercial kitchen, working side by side, and the way they touch, casual, familiar, intimate. I document everything, photos on my phone, dates and times in a notebook, license plates, receipts I find in Caroline's car. But I need more. I need the smoking tool. It comes from an unexpected source. Ethel Morrison, my 72-year-old neighbor. Ethel has lived on Maple Street for 40 years and knows everyone's business. She's the neighborhood watch, gossip central, and general busybody. I've always found her exhausting. Now, she's invaluable. "Dave," she calls one Saturday morning as I'm checking my mailbox. "Can I talk to you for a minute?" I paste on a smile. "Sure, Ethel. What's up?" She glances around conspiratorially, then leans in. "I don't like to spread rumors, but I think you should know. I've seen a man visiting your house when you're not home. He has a key. My blood goes cold. What does he look like? Tall, dark hair, drives a fancy black car. He comes in the afternoons, stays for an hour or two, then leaves. I wouldn't mention it, but she trails off, uncomfortable. But what? Well, Caroline is always home when he visits. And I just think it's odd, that's all. A man having a key to your house. I thank Ethel, my mind racing. Derek has a key. Of course he does. They're business partners. It would make sense for him to have access to the house where Caroline does recipe testing, except it's not about recipe testing. That afternoon, I install a hidden camera in our bedroom, a small device ordered online, disguised as a phone charger. I feel dirty doing it, but I need evidence. For the lawyers, for the police, for myself. The camera records everything, and what it records makes me want to burn the house down. 3 days of footage. 3 days of Caroline and Derek in my bed, in my house, laughing, touching, talking about their future together. 6 more months, Caroline says on the recording, her voice clear. The doctors said it could take up to 6 months for the poisoning to be fatal. We just have to be patient. Derek kisses her neck. What if he figures it out? He won't. Dave's brilliant with cars and chemistry, but he's clueless about people. He trusts me completely. It's actually kind of pathetic. They laugh. They actually laugh. I watch the footage alone in my office at the dealership. The door locked, the sound turned low. I watch it 3 times, making sure I'm not misunderstanding, not projecting, not imagining things. But there's no misunderstanding. It's all there. The affair, the poisoning, the plan to eliminate me and take everything. When I'm done watching, I copy the files to 3 different drives. Then I sit in the dark office and let myself feel it. The rage, the betrayal, the bone-deep hurt of loving someone who wants you dead. Then I lock those feelings away and start planning. Paul calls me the next morning with the lab results. I'm at the dealership pretending to review inventory when my phone rings. The toxicology came back, he says without preamble. Dave, you have significant levels of amatoxins in your blood. Your liver enzymes are elevated. Your kidneys are showing signs of damage. You need medical treatment immediately. How long do I have? That's not Dave. You need to go to a hospital. How long? Silence. Then, if the poisoning continues at the current rate, maybe 4 months, maybe less. But if you stop ingesting the toxin and get proper treatment, you can recover. The damage isn't irreversible yet. Send me the full report. Everything. And Paul, thank you. What are you going to do? What needs to be done? I hang up and sit for a moment, processing. 4 months. 4 months if I do nothing. But I'm not going to do nothing. First, I need allies. Jimmy finds me an hour later, staring at my computer screen. He knocks on the doorframe, though the door is open. Boss, you okay? I look up. Jimmy's worked for me for 5 years. He's loyal, discreet, and has a brother who's a private investigator. More importantly, he's seen me deteriorate over the past months and has asked more than once if I'm okay. Jimmy, close the door and sit down. He does, concern written across his weathered face. What's going on? I tell him everything, the poisoning, the affair, the plan to eliminate me. I show him the lab reports, the camera footage, the timeline I've constructed. I watch his expression go from shock to disbelief to cold fury. That evil... He cuts himself off, jaw clenched. What do you need? Help, information, muscle if it comes to that, and discretion. You got it, all of it. He leans forward. My brother Mike, the PI, he can dig up everything on this Derek guy. Bank records, phone records, the works. Might not all be admissible in court, but you'll know what you're dealing with. Do it, and Jimmy, I need to know who else is involved. You think there's more? I think Caroline isn't smart enough to plan this alone. She's brilliant with food, but this level of premeditation? Someone helped her. Jimmy nods slowly. I'll have Mike start digging. What are you going to do? Stop eating her food, for starters. And then, I smile. And it's not a nice smile. Then I'm going to make them wish they'd just asked for a divorce. The next piece falls into place 2 days later, courtesy of Jimmy's brother Mike. He shows up at the dealership after hours, a manila folder thick with documents. Your wife's business partner is drowning in debt, Mike says, spreading papers across my desk. Credit cards maxed out, loan payments behind. He's got a gambling problem. Online poker mostly, but also trips to the casino in Connecticut. He's into some loan sharks for about 60 grand. I flip through the documents. Bank statements showing Derek's account perpetually overdrawn. Credit reports with red flags everywhere, threatening letters from creditors. He needs money, I say, desperately. That's not all. Mike pulls out another set of papers. Your wife took out a life insurance policy on you 6 months ago. $500,000. She's the sole beneficiary. The timeline clicks into place. 6 months ago, Caroline increased my life insurance. 4 months ago, I started getting sick. The pieces fit together with horrible precision. There's one more thing, Mike says. I did some digging into your wife's associates. There's a woman, Jennifer Walsh. She's listed as the chief financial officer of Spice of Life Catering. You know her? I frown. Jennifer, sure. She's Caroline's best friend from college. She helped Caroline set up the business structure, handles the books. She's also got a degree in chemistry from State University. Graduated 2 years before you. The room tilts. Chemistry? Yeah. She worked for a pharmaceutical company for a few years, then quit to do consulting work, mostly helping small businesses with their finances. Mike taps the paper. But here's the interesting part. She was fired from the pharmaceutical company for theft. Specifically, theft of lab materials and compounds. I sit back, my mind racing. Jennifer Walsh, quiet, efficient Jennifer, always in the background at Caroline's events. Caroline's college roommate, her trusted advisor, her best friend, the one who would know exactly which poison to use and how to administer it. I need everything you can find on Jennifer, I tell Mike. Everything. He nods. Already on it. I'll have more in a few days. After Mike leaves, I sit alone in my office, piecing together the conspiracy. It's not just Caroline and Derek. It's Jennifer, too. Maybe more. A web of betrayal with me at the center, slowly dying while they plan their futures. But I'm not dead yet, and I'm done being the sufferer. I start with the money. Caroline thinks she's clever, but she's sloppy. Our accounts are joint. She never bothered to change that. I have access to everything, including the business accounts for Spice of Life Catering. I call my lawyer, Tom Bradford. We've known each other since high school, and I trust him completely. I explain the situation, not all of it, not yet, but enough. The affair, the suspicious illness, the need to protect my assets. I want to freeze the joint accounts, I tell him. And I want to start divorce proceedings, quietly. Tom is quiet for a moment. Dave, if you're serious about this, we need to do it right. Document everything. Get medical records. If you suspect poisoning, you need to report it to the police. Not yet. I need more evidence. But I want to be ready. Okay, I'll start the paperwork. But Dave, be careful. If what you're saying is true, these people are dangerous. I know. That's why I'm going to be more dangerous. The next day, I make my move. I transfer all the liquid assets from our joint accounts into a new account in my name only. It's not illegal. The accounts are joint. I have every right. But it leaves Caroline with no access to cash. Then I call the bank that holds the mortgage on our house and the business loan for the dealership. I explain that I'm going through a divorce and need to protect my assets. They're sympathetic. They've seen it before. By the end of the day, Caroline's access to our money is cut off. The credit cards are canceled. The business account is frozen pending a financial review. I wait for the explosion. It comes that evening. I'm at home. I've started coming home earlier, making a point of being present, when Caroline bursts through the door, her face flushed with rage. "What the hell did you do?" she screams. "My credit cards aren't working. The business account is frozen. Dave, what is going on?" I look up from my laptop. Calm. I'm protecting my assets during a difficult time. What difficult time? What are you talking about? The difficult time where my wife is having an affair with her business partner and trying to eliminate me. The color drains from her face. For a moment, she's frozen, mouth open, eyes wide. Then she recovers, and the mask slides back into place. That's insane. Dave, you're not well. You're paranoid. You need help. I have help. I have lawyers, investigators, and lab results. I know about the death cap mushroom, Caroline. I know about the life insurance policy. I know everything. She stares at me, and I see the moment she realizes I'm serious. The moment she understands that I'm not the sick, oblivious husband anymore. Dave, she says, her voice softer now, pleading. Let me explain. It's not what you think. Then what is it? Explain to me how poisoning your husband is an attempted homicide. I didn't. She stops, recalculating. You're misunderstanding. That spice blend, it's experimental. For the catering business, I didn't know it could make you sick. You didn't know that death cap mushrooms are poisonous? You, a professional chef who studied toxicology as part of your training? Try again. She changes tactics. Tears now, streaming down her face. Okay, yes, I've been seeing Derek. I'm sorry, I know it's wrong, but I never tried to hurt you. I would never hurt you. Save it for the police. The police? Her voice rises. You're going to the police? Not yet. First, I'm going to ruin you. Then I'm going to ruin Derek. Then I'm going to ruin Jennifer. And then, when you've lost everything, your business, your reputation, your freedom, then I'll go to the police. Caroline's face hardens. You can't prove anything. Can't I? I have lab reports showing poisoning. I have video of you and Derek discussing my passing. I have financial records showing the life insurance policy and Derek's debts. I have testimony from witnesses. I have everything I need. She stands there, shaking, trapped. Finally, she says, What do you want? I want you to suffer the way you made me suffer. I want you to know what it feels like to have everything taken from you. And I want you to understand that you brought this on yourself. I stand, gathering my laptop. I'm staying at a hotel tonight. Don't contact me. Don't come to the dealership. Don't do anything except think about how spectacularly you've destroyed your life. I walk past her, out the door, into the cool evening air. Behind me, I hear her start to cry. I don't look back. The Millbrook Inn is a tired motel on the edge of town, the kind of place where truckers sleep and affairs happen. It's cheap, anonymous, and exactly what I need. I check in under my name, no point in hiding, and settle into a room that smells like cigarettes and regret. My phone buzzes constantly, Caroline calling, texting, begging me to come home. I ignore every message. Let her panic. Let her scramble. Let her feel what it's like when the ground disappears beneath your feet. I order Chinese food and spread my evidence across the bed. Lab reports, financial documents, photos, video files. I organize it all, building a case that's airtight and devastating. My phone rings. Not Caroline this time. Jimmy. Boss, you need to see something. Can I come by? I'm at the Millbrook Inn, room 112. He arrives 20 minutes later with his brother Mike. They both look grim. We found something, Mike says, pulling out his laptop. Jennifer Walsh has been embezzling from the catering company. Small amounts at first, but it's been escalating. Over the past year, she's siphoned off about $80,000. I lean forward, studying the spreadsheets on his screen. Caroline doesn't know? Either she doesn't know or she's in on it. Hard to say, but here's where it gets interesting. Mike clicks to another file. Jennifer has been making regular payments to Derek. Cash transfers, always under $10,000 to avoid reporting requirements. She's been funding his gambling habit. So, Jennifer is using the business as her personal bank, and Derek is using Jennifer as his personal ATM. I sit back, processing. They're all using each other. There's more, Jimmy says. Mike talked to some people at the casino. Derek's been bragging about coming into money soon. Big money. Said he's got a deal going down, and once it pays out, he's moving to Florida. The life insurance payout, I say. He thinks he's getting $500,000. Split 3 ways, Mike adds, between Caroline, Derek, and Jennifer. That's the deal. They eliminate you, collect the insurance, and split the money. Caroline gets the business and the house. Derek gets enough to pay off his debts and start over. Jennifer gets her cut and disappears. I feel a cold rage settle over me. They planned this together, all 3 of them. Looks like it, Mike confirms. And they've been planning it for months. We found emails between Jennifer and Caroline discussing the project. They're careful, never explicit, but the timeline matches up with when you got sick. Can we prove Jennifer's involvement in the poisoning? That's harder. She's smart, covered her tracks, but the embezzlement, that we can prove. And once the police start digging, they'll find the rest. I stand, pacing the small room. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take them apart, piece by piece, starting with Derek. The next morning, I'm back at the dealership before dawn. I have work to do. Derek's BMW is easy to find. He parks it in the lot behind the catering company's commercial kitchen. It's his pride and joy, a 2021 M4 in black, probably leased at a rate he can't afford. I know cars. I know them intimately, and I know exactly how to make Derek's life miserable without breaking any laws. I don't sabotage the brakes. That would be dangerous and criminal. Instead, I do something far more annoying. I drain the coolant just enough that the car will overheat after about 20 minutes of driving. I loosen the battery terminals so the car will have electrical issues. I let some air out of the tires. Not flat, just low enough to trigger the pressure warning. Small things. Irritating things. Things that will cost Derek money and time he doesn't have. Then I make a phone call to the casino's security office. I don't identify myself. I simply tell them that a customer named Derek Chambers has been counting cards at the blackjack tables and might be worth investigating. He hasn't been counting cards. He's not smart enough. But the accusation alone will get him banned, cutting off his gambling access. Next, I visit the loan shark Derek owes money to. This takes more courage. The guy operates out of a pawn shop in the rough part of town, and he's exactly what you'd expect. Thick neck, dead eyes, the kind of guy who breaks fingers for a living. I'm looking for information about Derek Chambers, I tell him, keeping my voice steady. The loan shark, he tells me to call him Tony, looks me up and down. You a cop? No, I'm someone Derek screwed over. I thought you might want to know where he's planning to get the money to pay you back. Tony's interest sharpens. I'm listening. I tell him about the life insurance scam, about the poisoning, about Derek's plan to take the money and run to Florida. Thing is, I say, the police are already investigating. Derek's going to get arrested. And when he does, you'll never see your 60 grand. Tony processes this. You saying I should collect now? I'm saying you should know the situation. What you do with that information is up to you. I leave the pawn shop feeling dirty but satisfied. Tony won't eliminate Derek, too much heat, but he'll make Derek's life hell. And that's exactly what I want. The pressure builds over the next week. Derek's car keeps breaking down. The casino bans him. Tony's guys start showing up at his condo, making threats. Derek is unraveling, and I'm just getting started. Caroline tries to reach me constantly. She shows up at the dealership, but Jimmy turns her away. She calls my lawyer, who tells her to communicate through official channels. She's desperate, scared, and I feel nothing. The real blow comes when I leak the embezzlement information to the catering company's biggest client, a corporation that accounts for 30% of their revenue. I don't do it directly. I'm smarter than that. I have Mike send an anonymous email to the corporation's legal department, attaching financial documents showing the embezzlement. The corporation launches an immediate investigation. Within 48 hours, they suspend their contract with Spice of Life Catering, pending a full audit. Caroline calls me, hysterical. Dave, please, the business is falling apart. Our biggest client just dropped us. We're going to lose everything. Good, I say, and hang up. Jennifer is next. I've been saving her for last because she's the smartest of the three, the most dangerous. She's the one who knew which poison to use. She's the architect of my attempted homicide. I arrange a meeting with her, claiming I want to discuss the business finances. She agrees, probably thinking she can manipulate me, convince me that Caroline is innocent. We meet at a coffee shop in the next town over. Jennifer arrives looking composed, professional in a tailored suit, her blonde hair pulled back. She orders a latte and sits across from me, smiling. Dave, I'm glad you called. We need to talk about Caroline. She's been so worried about you. I'm sure she has. Worried I'll live long enough to testify. Jennifer's smile doesn't falter. I don't know what you mean. Yes, you do. You're the one who told Caroline which mushroom to use. You're the one who helped her calculate the dosage. You're the chemist, Jennifer. You knew exactly what you were doing. That's absurd. I pull out a folder and slide it across the table. That's the embezzlement evidence. $80,000 over 12 months. I've already given copies to the police and to the IRS. You're going to prison, Jennifer. The only question is for how long. She opens the folder, her face pale. You can't prove I had anything to do with poisoning you. Maybe not, but I can prove fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. And once the police start digging, they'll find the rest. They'll find the emails, the phone records, the financial transfers to Derek. They'll find everything. Jennifer closes the folder carefully. What do you want? I want you to confess everything on record. And I want you to testify against Caroline and Derek. Why would I do that? Because if you cooperate, you might get a lighter sentence. If you don't, I'll make sure you get the maximum for every charge I can think of. I lean forward. I'm not the sick, helpless sufferer anymore, Jennifer. I'm the guy who's going to destroy everyone who tried to eliminate me. The only question is whether you want to go down with them or save yourself. She sits in silence, calculating. Finally, she says, I want immunity. Talk to the prosecutor, but you better move fast. Derek's already cracking and Caroline's desperate. Whoever flips first gets the best deal. I leave her sitting there, staring into her coffee, her perfect composure shattered. 2 weeks later, everything comes to a head. I've orchestrated it carefully, timing each revelation for maximum impact. Derek cracks first. Tony's guys roughed him up, nothing serious, just enough to scare him. Combined with his car troubles, the casino ban, and the mounting pressure, Derek falls apart. He shows up at the police station asking for protection, and in exchange, he tells them everything. The affair, the poisoning plot, Jennifer's involvement, Caroline's cold calculations. He throws everyone under the bus to save himself. The police call me in for a statement. I meet with Detective Sarah Martinez, a sharp-eyed woman in her 40s who's seen everything and is impressed by nothing. "Mr. Wilson," she says, "we have some disturbing allegations. Derek Chambers claims your wife has been poisoning you with the intent to collect life insurance money." "That's correct." I hand her a flash drive. This contains all my evidence. Lab reports showing amatoxins in my blood. Video footage of Caroline and Derek discussing the poisoning. Financial records showing the life insurance policy and Derek's debts. Witness statements. Everything you need. Detective Martinez takes the drive, her expression carefully neutral. "Why didn't you come to us sooner?" "Because I wanted to make sure I had an airtight case, and because I wanted them to destroy themselves first." She studies me for a long moment. "You know that's dangerous. Vigilante justice—" "I haven't broken any laws," I interrupt. "I've documented crimes, protected my assets, and gathered evidence. Everything I've done is legal. Legal, but risky. They tried to eliminate me. I think I'm entitled to some risk." She can't argue with that. The arrests happen fast. Caroline is taken into custody at the commercial kitchen in front of her remaining staff and clients. The humiliation is exquisite. Derek is arrested at his condo, still nursing bruises from Tony's guys. Jennifer tries to run. She makes it as far as the airport before the police catch her. She's carrying a bag with $50,000 in cash, the last of what she embezzled. All three are charged with attempted homicide, conspiracy, fraud, and embezzlement. The bail is set high. None of them can make it. I attend the bail hearing. I sit in the back of the courtroom and watch as Caroline is led in wearing an orange jumpsuit, her hair unwashed, her face drawn. She sees me and her expression crumbles. The prosecutor lays out the case. The evidence is overwhelming. The judge denies bail, citing flight risk and the severity of the charges. As Caroline is led away, she looks at me one more time. I don't look away. I want her to see my face. I want her to understand that I'm the reason she's here, but I'm not done yet. The trial is 3 months away, but the damage is immediate. The local news picks up the story. Local chef accused of poisoning husband. It goes viral. News vans park outside the catering company. Reporters call my phone constantly. I give one interview to the local paper. I'm calm, articulate, and devastating. "My wife tried to eliminate me for money," I say. "She poisoned me slowly, deliberately, while pretending to care for me. She betrayed every vow we made, and now she'll face the consequences." The article runs with a photo of Caroline's mugshot next to a photo of me, looking thin and ill. The contrast is stark. Spice of Life Catering collapses within a week. All the clients cancel. The commercial kitchen is seized as part of the criminal investigation. The business that Caroline built, that she was so proud of, is destroyed. Derek's condo is foreclosed on. His BMW is repossessed. Tony's guys make sure everyone knows Derek is a snitch and a coward. His reputation, such as it was, is ruined. Jennifer's consulting business evaporates. Her professional licenses are suspended. Her name becomes synonymous with fraud and betrayal. I watch it all unfold with cold satisfaction. But there's one more thing I need to do. One final confrontation. I arranged to visit Caroline in jail. She's allowed one visitor per week, and I'm still legally her husband. The divorce won't be final for months. The visiting room is bleak. White walls, metal tables, guards watching everything. Caroline is brought in wearing her orange jumpsuit, looking smaller somehow, diminished. She sits across from me, separated by a glass partition. We pick up phones to talk. "Dave," she says, her voice breaking. "Thank you for coming. I've been hoping—" "I didn't come here to forgive you," I interrupt. "I came here to make sure you understand what you've lost." Her face crumples. "Please, I know I made mistakes, terrible mistakes, but we can work through this. We can work through this? You tried to eliminate me, Caroline. You poisoned me. You planned my end. You laughed about it with your lover in my bed." "I never meant— it wasn't supposed to—" She's crying now, mascara running down her face. "I was weak. Derek, he convinced me. He said it would be easy, that no one would know. I never wanted to hurt you." "You didn't want to hurt me? Every meal you served me was an attempt to eliminate me. Every kiss was a lie. Every I love you was a betrayal." I lean forward, my voice cold. "You destroyed everything we had. You destroyed yourself. And for what? Money? Derek? Was it worth it?" She's sobbing now, unable to speak. I want you to think about that every day you're in prison, I continue. I want you to remember that you had a good life, a successful business, a husband who loved you. And you threw it all away because you were greedy and selfish and cruel. Dave, please, I'm divorcing you. I'm taking the house, the dealership, everything. You'll get nothing. And when you get out of prison, if you get out, you'll have nothing. No money, no reputation, no future. You'll be a cautionary tale. The chef who poisoned her husband. I stand, ready to leave. Wait, she says desperately. What about you? Are you going to be okay? The poisoning, did it? I'm recovering. Full treatment, full recovery expected. I'll live a long, happy life. Without you, I hang up the phone and walk away. Behind me, I hear her screaming my name, but I don't look back. The trial is a media circus. Court TV covers it. Nancy Grace dedicates a segment to it. The story has everything: poison, betrayal, Zex, money. America can't get enough. I'm the star witness. I take the stand wearing a suit, looking healthy now after months of treatment. I tell my story calmly, methodically, walking the jury through every detail. The lab reports showing the poison in my blood, the video of Caroline and Derek discussing my passing, the financial records showing the life insurance policy, the timeline of my illness correlating with Caroline's special meals. The defense tries to paint me as vindictive, as someone who fabricated evidence to frame his cheating wife. But the evidence is too strong. The science is irrefutable. Derek testifies against Caroline, trying to save himself. He claims she masterminded everything, that he was just following her lead. It's pathetic and transparent. Jennifer, who took a plea deal, testifies about providing the poison and helping plan the timing. She's cold, factual, showing no remorse. The jury hates her. Caroline's defense is that she was manipulated by Derek and Jennifer, that she didn't understand what she was doing. No one believes it. The trial lasts 3 weeks. The jury deliberates for 4 hours, guilty on all counts. The sentencing hearing is 2 weeks later. The judge is a stern woman in her 60s who's clearly disgusted by the whole affair. Mrs. Wilson, she says, you attempted to homicide your husband in one of the most cold-blooded, premeditated ways imaginable. You poisoned him slowly over months while pretending to care for him. You betrayed every trust, every vow. You showed no remorse, only regret at being caught. Caroline is crying, her lawyer's hand on her shoulder. I'm sentencing you to 25 years in prison for attempted homicide, to run consecutively with 10 years for fraud and conspiracy. You'll be eligible for parole in 20 years. 20 years. Caroline is 36. She'll be 56 when she gets out, if she gets out. Derek gets 15 years. Jennifer gets 12, thanks to her cooperation. I sit in the courtroom and watch them being led away. I feel nothing. No triumph, no satisfaction, just emptiness. After the sentencing, I walk out of the courthouse into bright sunshine. Reporters swarm me, shouting questions. Mr. Wilson, how do you feel? Are you satisfied with the sentence? What's next for you? I stop, turn to face the cameras. Justice has been served. 3 people who tried to eliminate me are going to prison for a long time. That's enough. Do you have any message for your wife? I think about that. About Caroline, who I loved, who tried to homicide me. About the life we had and the life she destroyed. I hope she uses her time in prison to think about her choices, and I hope she understands that actions have consequences. I walk away, ignoring the follow-up questions. 6 months after the trial, I'm standing in the commercial kitchen that used to be Spice of Life Catering. I bought it at auction for pennies on the dollar. It's mine now, along with everything else. The house is mine. The business assets are mine. Even Caroline's recipes, I own them. I'm not keeping the catering business. I'm not a chef, and I have no interest in that world. But I am keeping the kitchen. I'm converting it into a community cooking school offering free classes to low-income families. The irony isn't lost on me. Caroline's kingdom, built on ambition and betrayal, will become something that actually helps people. My health is fully restored. The doctors say I'm lucky. Another few months of poisoning and the damage would have been permanent. As it is, I'm back to my normal weight, my color is good, and my stomach doesn't hurt anymore. The dealership is thriving. Jimmy's still there, loyal as ever. We don't talk about Caroline or the trial. We focus on work, on moving forward. Paul and I have dinner once a month. He saved my life by running those tests, and I'll never forget it. Ethel, my nosy neighbor, has become a friend. She brings me casseroles and gossip, and I pretend to be annoyed while secretly enjoying the company. I've started dating again. Nothing serious, just coffee and conversation. I'm not ready for anything more, and I might never be. Trust is hard when your wife tried to eliminate you. But I'm alive. I'm healthy. I'm free. And they're in prison. 1 year after the sentencing, I get a letter from Caroline. It's forwarded from my lawyer, who screens all her communications. The letter is long, handwritten, full of apologies and explanations. She talks about her ambition, her fear of being ordinary, her attraction to Derek. She talks about how Jennifer manipulated her, how things spiraled out of control. She never quite admits that she tried to eliminate me. Even now, she can't be fully honest. At the end of the letter, she asks if I'll visit her, if we can talk, if there's any chance of forgiveness. I read the letter once, then burn it in my fireplace. I watch the pages curl and blacken, the words disappearing into ash. There's no forgiveness. There's no reconciliation. There's only justice and moving forward. I think about writing back, about telling her exactly what I think of her excuses and her self-pity. But that would give her what she wants, my attention, my engagement, proof that she still matters to me. So I do something worse. I don't respond at all. Silence is its own kind of revenge. 2 years after the trial, I'm at the dealership when I get a call from Detective Martinez. Mr. Wilson, I thought you'd want to know. Jennifer Walsh was found dead in her cell this morning. Apparent self-destruction. I sit down slowly. Self-destruction? She left a note. Apparently the guilt was too much. She confessed to everything in writing. The poisoning, the embezzlement, manipulating Caroline and Derek. She said she couldn't live with what she'd done. I see. I'm sorry to deliver this news. I know it's complicated. After we hang up, I sit in my office processing. Jennifer is dead. Caroline and Derek are still in prison. And I'm here, alive, running my business, living my life. I should feel something. Satisfaction, vindication, even pity. But I feel nothing. Jennifer made her choices, just like Caroline and Derek made theirs. They all tried to eliminate me for money, and they all paid the price. I'm not glad she's dead, but I'm not sorry either. That evening, I drive to the cemetery where my parents are buried. I haven't been here in years, but tonight I need to talk to someone who knew me before all of this. I stand at their graves as the sun sets, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. I'm okay, I tell them. I survived. I won. But I don't feel like I won. I just feel tired. The wind rustles through the trees. Somewhere a bird calls. Caroline's in prison. Derek's in prison. Jennifer's dead. And I'm here. And I should be happy. But I'm not. I'm just here. I stand there for a long time, watching the sun disappear below the horizon. Finally, I turn and walk back to my car. Tomorrow, I'll go to work. I'll sell cars. I'll manage my employees. I'll live my life. The community cooking school will open next month. I'm dating someone new, a teacher named Lisa, who makes me laugh and doesn't know anything about cars or chemistry. Life goes on. It has to. But I'll never forget what Caroline did. I'll never forget the taste of betrayal, the slow poison of lies, the moment I realized the woman I loved wanted me dead. And I'll never forget that I survived, that I fought back, that I won. 3 years after the trial, I'm invited to speak at a sufferers' rights conference. They want me to tell my story, to talk about surviving attempted homicide and seeking justice. I almost decline. I don't want to be defined by what Caroline did to me. I don't want to be the guy whose wife tried to poison him for the rest of my life. But then I think about all the people who are being betrayed right now, who are being hurt by people they trust, who don't know how to fight back. So I accept. The conference is in Boston, in a hotel ballroom filled with survivors of all kinds of crimes. I'm nervous as I take the stage, looking out at hundreds of faces. My name is Dave Wilson, I begin. 3 years ago, my wife tried to eliminate me. She poisoned me slowly, over months. While I trusted her completely, she planned to collect my life insurance and run away with her lover. If I hadn't been curious, if I hadn't tested that spice jar, I'd be dead. I tell them the whole story. The discovery, the investigation, the evidence gathering, the trial. I tell them about the rage and the hurt and the determination to survive. The thing about betrayal, I say, is that it makes you question everything. Every memory, every moment, every I love you. You wonder if any of it was real. You wonder if you were just a fool. I pause, looking out at the audience. Some are crying, some are nodding. But here's what I learned. I wasn't a fool for loving her. I wasn't a fool for trusting her. She was the fool for throwing away something real for something as empty as money. She was the fool for choosing betrayal over love. She was the fool for thinking she could get away with it. Applause ripples through the room. I survived because I refused to be a sufferer. I survived because I fought back, legally and methodically. I survived because I believed I deserved justice, and I got it. More applause, louder now. If you're in a situation where someone is hurting you, betraying you, trying to destroy you, fight back. Document everything, get help, trust your instincts, and never, ever let them make you feel like you deserved it. You deserve better. You deserve justice. You deserve to survive. The standing ovation is overwhelming. People come up to me afterwards, shaking my hand, sharing their own stories, thanking me for speaking. And for the first time since this whole nightmare began, I feel something other than emptiness. I feel purpose. 5 years after the trial, I'm at the dealership when a woman walks in. She's in her 30s, nervous, looking around like she's not sure she's in the right place. "Can I help you?" I ask. "Are you Dave Wilson?" "I am." "I saw you speak at the Sufferers' Rights Conference 2 years ago. Your story, it helped me. I was in a bad situation, and hearing how you survived, how you fought back, it gave me the courage to leave, to get help, to press charges." She's crying now, and I hand her a tissue from the box on my desk. "I just wanted to say thank you. You saved my life by sharing your story." We talk for an hour. She tells me about her ex-husband, about the misuse, about the trial and the conviction. She tells me about rebuilding her life, about the therapy and the hard work of learning to trust again. When she leaves, I sit at my desk for a long time thinking. Caroline tried to destroy me. She tried to eliminate me, to erase me, to take everything I'd built. But she failed. I'm still here. I'm still standing, and somehow my survival has meaning beyond just my own life. That night, I go home to the house that used to be ours and is now just mine. I've redecorated, changed everything that reminded me of her. It's my space now, my sanctuary. I pour a glass of wine and stand on the back deck, looking at the stars. I won, I say to the night sky. Not just the trial, not just the revenge. I won because I'm still here, still living, still finding purpose. You tried to take everything, Caroline, but you couldn't take this. You couldn't take my life. The stars don't answer. They never do. But I don't need them to. I know the truth. I survived. I fought back. I won. And that's enough. 7 years after the trial, Caroline is eligible for parole. I'm notified of the hearing and given the opportunity to make a statement. I debate whether to go. Part of me wants to see her, to see what 7 years in prison has done to her. Part of me wants to never think about her again. In the end, I go. The parole hearing is in a small room at the state prison. Caroline is brought in wearing prison blues, her hair gray now, her face lined. She's 43 but looks 60. She sees me and her face crumbles. "Dave." The parole board asks me to speak first. 7 years ago, I begin. Caroline Wilson tried to eliminate me. She poisoned me slowly, deliberately, while pretending to love me. She planned to take my money and my life. She showed no remorse until she was caught, and even then, her apologies were self-serving. I look at Caroline. She's crying silently. I'm not here to argue for or against her parole. That's not my decision. I'm here to say that what she did changed me forever. I'll never fully trust again. I'll never feel completely safe. She took something from me that I can never get back. I pause. But I also want to say that I've moved on. I've built a new life. I'm happy, or as happy as I can be. Her actions don't define me anymore. I define me. I turn to the parole board. Whatever you decide, I'll accept it, but if you release her, I want her to understand that she can never contact me, never come near me, never try to explain or apologize. That door is closed forever. The parole board deliberates. Caroline makes her own statement full of apologies and promises of rehabilitation. In the end, they deny her parole. She'll serve the full sentence. As she's led away, she looks at me one last time. I don't look away. I want her to see that I'm strong, that I'm whole, that she didn't break me. Then, I leave the prison and drive home, and I never think about her again. 10 years after the trial, I'm standing in the community cooking school, watching a class of teenagers learn to make pasta from scratch. The instructor is patient, encouraging, helping them knead the dough and roll it thin. This is Caroline's legacy, though she'll never know it. Her ambition, her talent, her kitchen, all of it repurposed for something good. I think about the journey that brought me here, the poisoning, the betrayal, the investigation, the trial, the rage and the hurt and the determination to survive. I think about the woman I loved and the monster she became, and I think about the man I was and the man I am now. I'm not the same Dave Wilson who trusted blindly, who believed love was enough. I'm harder now, more cautious, more aware of the darkness that can hide in human hearts. But I'm also more alive, more purposeful, more grateful for every day I have. Caroline tried to eliminate me. She failed, and in failing, she gave me something I never had before, the absolute certainty that I can survive anything. I watch the teenagers laugh as they make their pasta, flour dusting their hands and faces. One of them, a girl with bright eyes and a quick smile, looks up at me. "Mr. Wilson, want to try some? We made enough for everyone." I smile. "I'd love to." She hands me a plate of fresh pasta with marinara sauce. I take a bite, and it's delicious. Simple, honest, real. "This is perfect," I tell her. "You're a natural." She beams with pride. And I realize, standing there in that kitchen, eating pasta made by hopeful teenagers, that I've finally found peace. Not forgiveness, not forgetting, but peace. Caroline is in prison. Derek is in prison. Jennifer is dead. And I'm here, alive, surrounded by good people doing good things. I won. Not because they're suffering, not because I got revenge. I won because I survived, because I rebuilt, because I found purpose in the ashes of betrayal. I won because I'm still here, still living, still capable of joy. And that, in the end, is the greatest revenge of all. I finish my pasta, thank the students, and walk out into the bright afternoon sunshine. Tomorrow I'll go to work. I'll sell cars, I'll manage my business, I'll live my life. But tonight I'll go home to my house, pour a glass of wine, and sit on my deck under the stars. And I'll remember that I'm alive, that I fought back, that I won, and I'll smile because that's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything. The end.